I'm feeling like I can't believe these 4 years went by so fast, and I never thought I'd stand on library steps with a cap and gown on.
I'm nervous. I'm scared I'm going to trip.
A little tired. A long night.
Anxiety. I think I'm going to choke myself with this thing. We need to get some safety pins down here. That's what I'm feeling.
I'm nervous as anything. Yeah, but it'll work out, I guess.
After only 5.5 years of college, I'm going to get a degree. Thanks, Mom.
These have been 4 of the best years ever since I lived at this one sophomore year, and we made a lot of memories, and Spring Hill sure is going to miss us.
I'm excited, but I don't want to leave, and it's sad, but it's cool because we're graduating.
I feel a lot of love.
I just can't believe that we've been here 4 years and it's time to leave. I'm really sad.
We'll miss it all and everyone.
Oh, I'm feeling great. I'm ready for this.
So what do you think about the graduation?
What do you think about graduation?
I'm not thinking right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm done with that exam. I'll tell you later.
Excited, anxious, and it's been a great 4 years. We've had a lot of fun, a lot of memories.
I just have mixed emotions. I'm really excited at the same time. I'm very sad to think all of this is ending. This has been my life for 4 years, and I love it with all my heart.
Couldn't be better. My hat doesn't fit very well, though. It's a bit flat. It's not very fitted. But, you know, I'm going to deal with it.
Well, this is a moment that I've waited for my entire life, to walk across that stage in front of my parents and take that big step forward into the future. And that's exactly what it is, a step into the future.
We have to line up because we have to leave prior to 11 o'clock.
How you doing?
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing while we hear the national anthem played by the McGill-Tulane High School Band under the direction of Mr. Michael Foots. The invocation will be given by Reverend John Payne of the Society of Jesus, Director of Campus Ministry. Father Payne.
Our gracious God, you know our hearts well and the shared affection we bear one another and this venerable college which has indelibly marked our lives as we come to this graduation. We gather to celebrate, to reward, and to remember our graduates and their sometimes faltering and sometimes swift journey to this place of surpassing splendor and to this event worth their cherishing throughout their lives. You have always accompanied them, their families, and us on their quest for wisdom and a future which might draw from them their best energy and dedication. May their lives, no matter to what far distant places their destiny leads them, radiate the courage, creativity, compassion, and unflinching love of your Son, our Lord Jesus Christ, until that final day when once again we gather in your presence, never to be separated. We ask this of you, our God, Father, Son, and Spirit. Amen.
Distinguished members of the Board of Trustees, Most Reverend Archbishop, Reverend Father President, members of the faculty, members of the graduating class of 1966, honored guests, parents, students, and friends, I declare this convocation, the 166th commencement of Spring Hill College, formally open. Distinctive Students Awards will now be presented. The Tulane Award is presented to graduating seniors who have achieved the highest grade point average during the entire course of study. This year, 4 students share this award. All 4 have completed their degree programs with straight A's or perfect 4.0 averages. I request that each recipient come to the platform when called. Christopher Hawkins. Mary Ann Hicks. Frederick Meyer. Margaret Phillips. The Ignatian Awards are presented to students, 1 graduating female and 1 graduating male, who have fulfilled best the ideals of Jesuit education for scholarship, leadership, and service during their 4 years at Spring Hill College. These are the highest student awards bestowed by the college. The male recipient of this year's Ignatian Award is Ryan Smith. The female recipient of this year's Ignatian Award is Lisa Pye. The Edward B. Moody S.J. Teacher of the Year Award is made annually to the professor who, in the judgment of a committee composed of a broad cross-section of the academic community, has displayed excellence in the fulfillment of the teaching mission of the college. This year, the award is presented to Dr. Mark Starr, Associate Professor of Philosophy. The Dawson Service Award is made to the professor who, in the judgment of a faculty committee, has displayed excellence in service in fulfillment of the college mission. This year, the award is presented to Dr. Lois Silvernail, Associate Professor of Teacher Education. I would like to introduce the president of the graduating class, Ashley Braswell, who will make a presentation on behalf of the class of 1996. Ashley?
Father Rewak, on behalf of the class of 1996, I would like to present you with our gift, bricks for the new Recreation Center. I feel this is symbolic of our class because, like bricks, we are strong individually, but together we build something stronger. Each member of the class of 1996 will have their name put on a brick. We want to help build a strong foundation for the new additions to Spring Hill, just like the college has given us a strong foundation for our futures. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ashley, and thank all of you. Your names will be inscribed in front of the new Recreation Center, and it's very nice of you. Thank you. What I wanted to say to you as president, I said yesterday at the Baccalaureate Mass, and I won't add to that this morning, but I think it's important to say something here about the next step in our ceremonies, our conferring of the honorary degrees. Any college or university honors itself by honoring those who have achieved excellence in some field. We honor you graduates today by conferring a bachelor's or a master's degree on you, and Spring Hill is honored by the work that you have done, and by the people that you have become. This is also a traditional and appropriate time, therefore, to confer honorary degrees to honor those who have achieved excellence in their life work. It's particularly appropriate to do so here because these honorees are presented to you as graduates, as people worth emulating. They are achievers, people who have lived and worked by discipline, people who have taken advantage of their lives and their gifts to serve their neighbor. They deserve our recognition, and they deserve your imitation. They are people who have lived the ideals and values of Spring Hill College. Therefore, first, will Albert Murray please stand? Dr. John Heffner, Professor of English, will read the citation for Mr. Murray.
Beginning with your early education at Mobile County Training School and through your years at Tuskegee Institute and New York University, you have consistently spoken for the value of learning as a means of developing the whole person. Your novels and essays state your purpose plainly. My stories are really about what it means to be human by processing the raw materials of my Southern experience into a universal aesthetic statement. I am most likely to come to terms with my humanity. Henry Louis Gates, Jr., after describing you as the most outrageous theorist of American culture, asserts, "This is Albert Murray's century. We just live in it." Your varied and inspiring work corroborates our own work of a liberal arts education. Spring Hill College is therefore pleased to bestow on you this day a doctorate in humane letters honoris causa. I have a footnote to add to the citation. Today is Albert Murray's 80th birthday. Would you congratulate him with me?
Will William Jefferson Hearin please stand? The citation for Mr. Hearin will be read by Ms. Betty Hudgens, Associate Professor of Communication Arts.
In 1927, you began a career at your hometown's daily newspaper, which evolved into an extraordinarily active life, dedicated to Mobile and its residents and the encouragement of journalism excellence. Your name has been synonymous with the Mobile Press Register, especially during the years that you served as its publisher and president from 1970 to 1992. Widely acknowledged as a loyal leader and a catalyst for action, you have given generously of your time, talents, and gifts to numerous civic, nonprofit, and educational organizations. For outstanding newspaper career and for your many contributions to Mobile and the state of Alabama, Spring Hill College confers on you this day a Doctorate of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
Will Thomas E. Caestecker please stand? The citation for Thomas E. Caestecker will be read by Thomas Caestecker, Jr., class of 1991.
As a graduate of both Loyola Academy and Georgetown University, you have incorporated into your life the secret of Jesuit education, a devotion to the liberal arts and sciences, a disciplined mind and open heart, and a dedication to the service of God's people. As a humanist in the field of banking and investments, you have worked consistently to articulate and encourage the highest ethical standards in your profession. As a citizen of learning, you have constructed a library, established scholarships, and funded a fine arts series. As a parent of a Spring Hill graduate, you so respect and honor this Catholic institution that you have established the first endowed chair, the Thomas E. Caestecker Chair of Liberal Arts. For your vision and for your adherence to gospel-centered message of love, Spring Hill is proud this day to confer on you a doctorate in humane letters, honoris causa.
Will Ron Hansen please stand? The citation for Ron Hansen will be read by the Reverend J. William Harmless of the Society of Jesus, Associate Professor of Theology. After receiving his degree, Mr. Hansen will present the commencement address.
In a faultless, haunting prose style, you have explored the geographical areas of your own Midwest, the Northeast, the small towns of Mexico. You have looked into the hearts of a nun, a desperado, a bandit, and a lost father, telling of those who have lived magnificently and those who have grieved at human loss. You have examined the relationship between art and religion, and you have traveled the hard countries of mystery and faith. For your wisdom, your poetry, your searching, Spring Hill College is proud to confer on you this day a doctorate in humane letters, honoris causa.
A few years after the humiliation of Germany in what was then called the Great War, Hermann Hesse, a novelist of ideas and a moralist of a higher order, published his novel Damien. Written when Hesse was 42 years old, Damien pretended to be the spiritual autobiography of a far younger man, Emil Sinclair, and was, as its subtitle stated, the story of a youth meaning not just Emil Sinclair, but a whole wartime generation and its forestalled awakening to selfhood. Employing the psychoanalytic discoveries of Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung, and writing in an existentialist tradition of Friedrich Nietzsche and Fyodor Dostoevsky, Hermann Hesse effectively portrayed the quest of a wistful adolescent torn between the familiarities and conventions of home and the occult and chaotic world of petty crime, sensuality, and rebellion that his precocious classmate, Damien, introduces him to. With the help of Damien and his mother, Eva, Emil Sinclair embarks on an interior pilgrimage that will enable him to heal the trauma of war and find his own destiny. I have been and still am a seeker, Hesse's fictional character writes, but I have ceased to question stars and books. I have begun to listen to the teachings my blood whispers to me. The hope of the novel Damien is that from the horrors of the First World War, a new Europe will rise up, one governed by people of fully integrated personalities. But that, of course, was not to be. In 1930, when Adolf Hitler was rising to power in Germany, and Hermann Hesse, a pacifist, was heading for the sanity of Switzerland, the author published Narcissus and Goldmund, his finest novel of education, and the foremost reason for his being awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature some 15 years later. Narcissus and Goldmund is set in the Middle Ages and features two protagonists, Narcissus, an ascetic monk who rises in the church through heroic discipline and self-control, and Goldmund, his seeming opposite, a romantic youth hungry for knowledge and worldly experience, whom we first meet as a novice with Narcissus, but who then flees the monastery in order to fulfill his sensual self. Much of the novel follows the vagabond Goldmund as he journeys through worlds of hedonism, violence, and disease, and is finally jailed and slated for execution for having the temerity to pursue the governor's mistress. But Narcissus, who is now the priest Abbot John, frees him from jail and welcomes him back in the monastery, where Goldmund tries to transform his worldly experiences into works of art. Eventually, just before his death, he creates a magnificent carving of the Madonna. The book is a moving and pointed exploration of the conflict between the life of the spirit and the life of the flesh, of the tensions between art and scholarship, action and contemplation, between the wanderer and the sedentary in us. Quite early in the novel, Narcissus tells his friend, "To you belongs the bounty of life, to you the juice of the fruits, to you the garden of love, the beautiful country of art. Your home is the earth as ours is the idea. You are running the danger of drowning in sensuality while we could suffocate in airless space. You are an artist, I am a thinker." Narcissus and Goldmund are yin and yang, sun and moon, sea and land. Each needs the other. While the dualism can seem primitive and far too dependent on either-or conditions that a healthy psyche ought to be suspicious of, Hesse's later novel, like Damien, is a fascinating portrait of two compelling impulses. One, to stay rooted in a community, be accepted by the powers that be, and rise in prominence. And the other, to run away, rebel against authority, and fashion new forms of expression. An integrated personality, as you know, chooses neither one life nor the other. Maturity requires both responsibility and experiment, flight and holding fast to tradition, the assumption of obligations, and the outright repudiation of all that is hurtful, oppressive, and wrong. We are called to be, as the conjunction in the novel's title implies, both Narcissus and Goldmund, to find our salvation, like Emil Sinclair, in a full awareness of who we authentically are. In Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, the playwright Tom Stoppard wrote that every exit is an entry somewhere else. We celebrate both an exit and an entry today. You are leaving what I hope was a haven of learning for a future that may be full of the uncertainties and forebodings that Emil and Goldmund felt on their journeys. My own 20s were times of intensity and turmoil, zest and fatigue, the attainment of mastery, and the frustration of rejection. But that is to be expected. For, as the incredibly challenged author Helen Keller put it, character cannot be developed in ease and quiet. Only through experience of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, vision cleared, ambition inspired, and success achieved. And who would not quickly trade tranquility for passion, half-heartedness for zeal, a life of ease for one of endeavor? St. Irenaeus said, "The glory of God is a human being fully alive." But what is it to be fully alive? That question and that quest are highlighted wonderfully in Hermann Hesse's books. But all of us who are now in the middle of this journey we call our life probably have come to the realization that awareness, that harmonious integration of body, mind, and soul, is teasingly elusive, felt only fleetingly, pursued by the wise but never wholly owned. But that pursuit, more than a job or career, is what our educations ought to have prepared us for. Education, Aristotle wrote, is an ornament in prosperity and a refuge in adversity. You have been educated. Know that it is far more than that. Education adds zest to the life you have, but also an unquenchable yearning for more, for better. Education ought to be a spur, a starting point, and inspiration. Education is never completed, but perpetually recommenced. Ambrose Bierce defined achievement as the death of endeavor and the birth of disgust. While I do not share his cynicism, I have had feelings of fraudulence and failure, even on occasions of real achievement, such as you're enjoying here today. St. Augustine wrote of those feelings in one of his sermons in which he said, "What you are must always displease you, if you would attain to that which you are not." And yet we should not be too hard on ourselves, but tolerant of our frailties, our stupidities, our tendencies to what the Gospel of Mark calls hamartia, a word often translated as sin, but which means in fact a failure of aim, a missing of the mark. Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, the great Jesuit priest and paleontologist, found in the process of evolution, from the formation of the earth through the emergence of life, a halting and gradual upward movement toward fulfillment in an omega point, where all of creation would be one with Christ. We are challenged to further that process of evolution, but he wrote that we ought to trust in the Lord of the journey. Above all, he wrote, trust in the slow work of God. We are quite naturally impatient in everything to reach the end without delay. We would like to skip the intermediate stages. We are impatient of being on the way to something unknown, something new. And yet, it is the law of all progress that progress is made by passing through some stages of instability, and that may take a very long time. And so I think it is with you, he wrote. Your ideas mature gradually. Let them grow. Let them shape themselves without undue haste. Don't try to force them on as though you could be today what time, that is to say, grace and circumstances acting on behalf of your own goodwill, will make of you tomorrow. Only God can say what this new spirit gradually forming within you will be. Give our Lord the benefit of believing that his hand is leading you, and accept the anxiety of feeling yourself in suspense and incomplete. Daniel Berrigan, the Jesuit poet and theologian, titled one of his 40 books, "The Raft is Not the Shore." We so often mistake the one for the other. Your home, your upbringing, your education, your job or career are rafts. You will have many more. The shore is what you have been seeking, and the shore is oneness with God. As Ignatius Loyola wrote in the first principle and foundation of his spiritual exercises, human beings are created to praise, reverence, and serve God our Lord, and by this means to save their souls. The other things on the face of the earth are created for people to help them in pursuit of the end for which they were created. From this it follows that we ought to use those things to the extent that they help us in fulfilling this purpose, and we ought to rid ourselves of them insofar as they hinder us. We're to have a high regard for nature and for others, but in terms of our worldly desires, Ignatius urges us to be indifferent to created things. We should not prefer health over illness, riches over poverty, honor over dishonor, a long life more than a short one. We should only want whatever better fulfills the goal for which God created us, oneness with Him. At first it may seem a hard rule and a rejection of all that is good and beautiful in the world. Who with cancer would not choose to be well? Who of those who are hungry and homeless would not rightly choose to be otherwise? But wealth and honors and loss and heartbreak and all the glories and maladies of our lives are accidents that befall us. One thing is absolute and central to our being, and that is God. Acquiring or possessing are meaningless. What is necessary for us is to become who we were meant to be and to die in the fullness of that being. We honor you, graduates of Spring Hill College, today because you have been uniquely gifted and have used your talents well. And now more is required of you. You are called on to be faith for the faithless, hope for the hopeless, charity for those who have nothing. Excellence in all things is one of the goals of Jesuit higher education, but that excellence has far less to do with worldly accomplishments and fame and success than it does with the qualities that Emil Sinclair and Damien and Narcissus and Goldman sought: honesty, kindness, integrity, patience, faithfulness, perseverance. I hope you will strive for those in your professions and your life. Without likening myself to St. Paul, I would like to close with a famous quote from his letters to the Romans. "Do not let your love be a pretense," he wrote, "but sincerely prefer good to evil. Love each other as brothers and sisters should, and have a profound respect for each other. Work for the Lord with untiring effort and with great earnestness of spirit. Rejoice in your hope, be patient in tribulation, be constant in prayer. Contribute to the needs of the saints, practice hospitality, bless those who persecute you, bless and do not curse them. Rejoice with those who rejoice, weep with those who weep. Treat everyone with equal kindness. Never be condescending, but make real friends with the poor. Do not allow yourselves to become self-satisfied. Never repay evil with evil, but let everyone see that you are interested in only the highest ideals. Do all you can to live at peace with everyone." Thank you.
We will now proceed with the conferral of degrees in course. Will the graduates with master's degrees please stand? Reverend Father President, I have the honor of presenting to you candidates for the Master of Arts degree, the Master of Arts in Teaching degree, the Master of Business Administration degree, the Master of Liberal Arts degree, the Master of Theological Studies degree, and the Master of Science and Education degree. They have been duly examined and recommended by the faculty and approved by the corporation.
We, the president and faculty of Spring Hill College, empowered by the sovereign state of Alabama to confer degrees in all departments of the arts and sciences, hereby invest these candidates with all the rights and privileges pertaining to these degrees.
The graduates may sit until their row is called by the Marshal to come forward. I request that the audience hold all applause until all master's degrees are awarded. Dr. Varnell Lee, Associate Professor of Communication Arts, will present the students. Dr. Lee.
Let the Master of Arts graduates advance. Andrew Thomas McCarthy, Jr. Let the Master of Arts in Teaching graduates advance. Jana Michelle Brown. Roy E. Davis. Valerie Harris Williams. Susan D. Harrison, Donald R. Hughes, Jr., Valerie Hewley, Darlene K. Johnson, Katrina E. Knox, Elizabeth B. McElroy, Na Hong T. Nguyen, Mary Allison Northrop, Louise Mulheron Otto, Andrea Chesser Ottolino, Monique S. Powell, Cynthia L. Rice, Carol Ann Ross, Sharon Ross Staley, Jeanette Goodyear Smith, Barbara Mills Staten, Kim Brinson Straub, Erin Louise Vulovich, Jean Catherine Wallace, let the Master of Business Administration graduates advance. Russell Crandall Buffkin, Gregory S. Curo, Matthew Thomas Eberlein, Peter C. Gursky, Thomas Abair Harmon, Jr., Laura Taylor Hill, Kenneth Damon Huff, Albert W. Key, Jr., Julie A. Lamaglia, Charles R. Mayhall III, Kevin A. McGovern, Mark David Nelson, Larry P. Palmer, Mary Elizabeth Peller, Carmen Benton Rockstall, J. Chirk Schlesinger, Robin Lynn Smith, Hilliard Vaughn Street III, John A. Webster III, let the Master of Liberal Arts graduates advance. Teresa Buckholtz, Marcia Whitehurst Coker, Deborah Corey Guyton, let the Master of Theological Studies graduates advance. Catherine N. Banks, E. Stephen Crooms. Kimberly L. Diamond. Lynn S. Dubisson. Mabel T. Garner. James Robert Grimes. Arthur H. Schmidt, Jr. Barbara A. Sturbaum. Let the Master of Science in Education graduates advance. Claudia Bishop. Barbara S. Bray. Lisa M. Bullard. Eugenia Hutchinson Burks. Betty Cade Brown. Joanne M. Kaufman. Laura E. Carter. Gail G. Christine. Angelina L. Connor. Sharon Driscoll Craig. Patty Glenn Curtin. Linda M. Dickens. Shirley Gary. Gail Harris. Sherry Clark Hart. Betty Jean Graves Houston. Sonia Yvette Hughes. Catherine Irwin. Latanya Faye King. Terry Elizabeth Knight. Rose Limay Tynes. Carolyn B. Lawley. Donna M. McGee. Suzanne Megger Meadows. Cecilia Mills. Patricia E. Mims. Antoinette J. Mixon. Roseanne L. Morasani. Brenda White Patterson. Margaret Webster Payne. Betty M. Pierce. Yolanda F. Porter. Karen M. Price. Mary Nell Pulliam. Gregory Mel Robertson. Corrine T. Robinson. Julia N. Shields. Jacqueline A. Singleton. Kim J. Singleton. Darla D. Tillingast. Robin Turner. Kathy S. Walker. Betty Salter Warren. Victoria L. Warren. Mrs. Janet Woodward Wells. Danella Crusser Williams.
Will the candidates for the bachelor's degree, the associate's degree, and certificates please stand?
What was confusing about that?
Reverend Father President, I have the honor of presenting to you candidates for the Bachelor of Arts degree, the Bachelor of Science degree, and the Associate of Science degree, as well as this year's certificate recipients. They have been duly examined and recommended by the faculty and approved by the corporation. Father.
We, the president and faculty of Spring Hill College, empowered by the sovereign state of Alabama to confer degrees in all departments of the arts and sciences, hereby invest these candidates with all the rights and privileges pertaining to these degrees.
The graduates may sit until their row is called by the Marshal to come forward. I request that the audience hold all applause until all degrees are awarded.
Let the Bachelor of Arts candidates advance. Matthew M. Adamick. Rosalind B. Anthony. Kristen Lynn Baranovic. Brandy Barbier, magna cum laude. Tracy D. Bates. Barbara Battencourt. Stanley Jared Bordelon, II, cum laude. John Martin Bram. Regina Darnell Bryant. John Christopher Busby, cum laude. Robin E. Callahan. Andre L. Contrerera. David D. Carley. Timothy D. Carter. Lisa H. Casanelli Carr. Carrie Ann Chimento. Amanda K. Collins, cum laude. Kristen Cornett. Scott Alden Cuvillon. Howard William Cuevas. Jamie Jarvis Cusick. Jason P. Davis. Tara Drinkard. Julie Linnell Dubisson. Wanda Salter Duke. Jennifer M. Fernandez, magna cum laude. Lisa Kristen Flores. Patrick Robbins Flynn. Jacqueline T. Gilliard. Tanya Elvira Garcia. Gregory R. Grupo. Jennifer Jane Hall. Gordon Bowie Hamilton, Jr. Karen M. Hamlin. D. Stephen Hancock. Sean Grimes Harden.
Congratulations, success.
Jennifer Mary Hayden.
Congratulations, success.
Edric Haynes. Robert C. Hendrick, Jr. David Scott Hoffman. Rebecca Eileen Holcomb, magna cum laude. Michael A. Hovel. Alice Page Elizabeth Hall, magna cum laude. Janice Louise Jacques. Michael Kaiser. Paul Richard Khalifi II, magna cum laude. Paula Joy Lakeman. Sarah R. Laswell. Holly Michelle Legg, magna cum laude. Joe Hollis Little III. Michael D. Lovelace.
You, Michael.
Frederick Walter Meyer, summa cum laude. Brad David Martin, cum laude.
All the lips come, Brad. I'm up there.
Courtney Elizabeth Messino. Brian O'Neill McCarroll. Kevin E. McConville. Jason Carter McClendon. Terry Stanley Merchant. George Anthony Metzger. Elizabeth R. Milton, summa cum laude. James Hugh Monahan. Thomas Arant Oswell.
All success. Congratulations.
Carolyn Overbeck, magna cum laude. William Andrew Pollock. Amy Marie Phelps. Margaret Dial Phillips, summa cum laude. Monique M. Pontiff. Jennifer Foster Prebanik, summa cum laude. Jeannie Bracken Pucklewarts. Gary L. Pugh. Theresa A. Reckart, magna cum laude. Randall A. Reinhardt. Jason Roberts.
Congratulations. Every success.
Karen Louise Selassie, cum laude. Jeffrey Shane Shivers. Kelly S. Slattery. Stephen Sterling III. Kristen Joy Tompkins. Mark Edwin Travis. C. Hallie Trenner. Virginia L. Ohm. Ryan Michael Valley. Kimberly L. Vaughn. Chris P. Walgreen.
Good for you.
John H. Withers. Gregory Ross Wilker. Johnny O. Williams, cum laude. Carrie Tanika Williams, cum laude. Andre M. Wilson. James Alexander Wyatt III.
Congratulations. No, I didn't.
Let the Bachelor of Science candidates advance. Jennifer Michelle Adams.
Congratulations. Every success.
Jonathan Holden Adams, magna cum laude.
Congratulations, Jonathan.
Alexandra Stephanie Aiken. Mark Anthony Andradina. Alman C. Atchison. Dawn Armbruster Atterbury. Heather Lorraine Baker. Kenneth James Bartosh, cum laude. Cecilia Battaglia. Jonathan D. Bearden. Michael C. Bean. Amy Michelle Bergeron, magna cum laude. Andrew K. Bingham. Jonathan Francis Blake.
You're the most notable of all the kids. Congratulations, John.
Jessica Childs Brabner. Ashley Ann Braswell. Jacqueline Brennan, cum laude. Jill Marie Burns. Deidre Chanel Butler. Brian T. Carpin. Alicia Nicole Carter. Brad Martin Kassan. Richard Gabriel Cheney. Ernest Scott Christmas. Stephanie Neilwan Klein. Jennifer Lee Cook. Brian Joseph Cook. Matthew Frank Costa. Nicole F. Davis. Sonia M. Davis. Yvonne De La Vega. Clement O'Neill Dennis III. Jennifer Elaine Derrick. Rhonda Gail Dixon. Thomas Patrick Doyle, Jr. Kevin McLeod Drain. George Perry Eastman. Margaret M. Ekins, magna cum laude. Karma Lachey Ferrier. Amy Christine Philippi. Kieran Nicholas Fitzpatrick. Eugenia Greer Foster. Peter J. Fuller, cum laude. Heather A. Gabler. Amalia A. George. Mary Frances Giatina, magna cum laude. Ginger Renee Gilreath. William D. Glazner. Keith Thomas Goodwin, cum laude. Teresa L. Godstein. Aaron N. Grandolfo. Walter Travis Grant, cum laude. Christopher R. Halverson, cum laude. Andrew Harrell. Amanda Muriel Hart. Anne Frost Hawker, magna cum laude. Christopher Lee Hawkins, summa cum laude.
Congratulations. More success. Keep it up.
LaJoyce N. Hawthorne. John E. Held II.
Congratulations, all success.
Michelle Marie Hickman, summa cum laude. Mary Ann Hicks, summa cum laude. Dina DeGrew Hines. Whitney Jill Hoffman. Brian Joseph Holbert. Michelle Lee Hubler. Andrea Marie Huskin. Terry Howard. Thomas A. Heil. Rosanna Rosaldo Johnson. Kristen Marie Kinney. Laverne Kidd.
Congratulations.
Anthony L. King. Christopher Eugene King. Matthew A. Kuholtz. Rebecca Ferris Lathram. Colleen Margaret Lawless. Michelle Theresa Leday. Dorian A. Lee. Dorothy Elizabeth LaFoe. Lauren Letchworth. Stacy Bertina Lewis. Raul Mauricio Llanos. Kristen Lair. Rosalind Marie Long, cum laude. Katina D. Lynham. Janine Marie Mater. William George Magruder, cum laude. Laura Lee Mackey, cum laude. Sarah Ann Malone. Christopher John Mengeldorf.
Congratulations.
John Bradford McGill. Daniel Michael McGreevy.
Get that hat there.
Christine Elizabeth Mest. Tina Marie Miller, cum laude. Kyle Mitternight. Randall S. Mudry. Janet M. Niedicksburg. Chi P. Nguyen, cum laude. Kimberly N. Odell. Thomas E. Ottinger, Jr.
Congratulations. Every success.
Lisa Jane Pye, magna cum laude. James William Pinley III, cum laude.
All success.
Catherine Elizabeth Perez. Pedro Roberto Perez.
Success.
Charlie M. Perry. Julie King Peterson. Charles B. Petit. Lee Bradley Phillips. Jill Parrish Phillips, cum laude. Gloris Virginia Pike. Jamie Lynn Peru.
Congratulations.
Lee Ann Porter. Julie E. Prerost, cum laude. Stephen D. Keena. Ursel Rain. Matthew Chapman Randall.
Congratulations. Success.
Robert W. Ranieri.
Congratulations. All success.
Sharon C. Reed. Scott Brian Reynolds. Christopher Stephen Roa. John George Rouse. Armor L. Saradet, Jr., magna cum laude.
Congratulations. All success.
Michael John Schultz.
Congratulations, Michael. All success.
Brendan Peter Shaw. Kelly Noel Shelton. Kim D. Signorelli. M. Ryan Smith. Andrew John Stangl. Doris P. Steelreath, magna cum laude. Julie Beth Stevens. J. Daniel Stahl. Eric Strauss, Jr. Patricia D. Stump. Kasahiko Takashige.
Congratulations. All success.
Douglas Claude Taylor.
Congratulations.
Jennifer Michelle Terrell. Ryan Parker Thompson. Richard A. Tonry II. Dana Marie Trahant. Christopher William Travers. Amy Varielli. Melissa Walsh Vines. J. Philip Vollmer, Jr.
Congratulations. Also.
Michael Darrell Vondenstein. Kim Fong T. Vu. Dwight Dallas Walker. Joseph P. Walsh.
Congratulations. All success.
William Orland Webb IV. Aaron Blake Weber, magna cum laude. David Anthony Weems.
Congratulations.
Ellen Carol Weiss, cum laude.
Congratulations.
Kelly David Welsh.
Congratulations.
W. Hayes Wheelis.
Congratulations.
Derek Dion White.
Congratulations.
Michael Thomas Williams.
Congratulations.
Tanya Williams. Tamu Wilson. Carol Rebecca Wolf. Stephanie Ann Yakel. Patricia A. Young. Let the associate degree candidates advance. Dinah Brannon. Cynthia P. McCarthy. Cherise Yvette Wimberly.
Congratulations, all success.
Let the Certificate of Theological Studies candidates advance. Helen Burke Flowers. Vicki Garland Malone.
Ms. Margaret Ekins, Orator for the class of 1996, will deliver the farewell address. Meg?
Most Reverend Archbishop Lipscomb, Reverend Father President, faculty, classmates, parents, and friends. I would like to thank the members of the senior class for electing me to speak today. This is truly a great honor and one that I will always remember. Being a part of this class has meant a great deal to me, and I am extremely grateful for the chance to participate in our graduation exercises. It is indeed an honor to be speaking on behalf of the class of 1996, and I hope I can offer everyone a little insight as to what we have been through the past few years at Spring Hill. However, before I begin, I would like to take this opportunity to wish all of the mothers a very happy Mother's Day. I would like to say a special thank you to my mother and to Mrs. Brandis, who have always seemed to be there for me in both the best and the worst of times. It is certainly special that we can celebrate these two events together, as all of our mothers have done so much to get us to this point in our lives. For that, we thank you and honor you today. Happy Mother's Day. As most of you know, from my desperate pleas for your help, I've had a tough time figuring out exactly what to say today. I hope you don't mind, but no names will be mentioned and no quotes will be recited. Instead, I've decided to talk about what I found when I first arrived at the Hill and what we have all found during our time here. I can remember my first drive down to Spring Hill back in August of 1992. Like most freshmen heading off to college, I had absolutely no clue what to expect. To be quite honest, I was scared to death. I was leaving a great hometown, all of my friends, in a place where there are no strangers. However, it was too late to turn back, so off we were, my mom, my dad, and myself, heading for Mobile, Alabama. About 5 hours into the trip, my mom handed me a card that my sister Kate had written for me. It was one of those don't give it to her until she's long gone plans. Anyway, the card contained the basic good luck and I'll miss you wishes, but it was what Kate had written inside the card that had caught my attention and has remained with me for the past 4 years. You see, Kate graduated from Boston College in 1990 and thus is pretty familiar with the Jesuit ways of teaching. In her card, she said, and I quote, "If you can, get to know some of your professors. Some will be jerks, but most will be incredible people." Especially the Jesuits. The Jesuits have so much to offer, and not only as professors. Above all, remember that none of them would be there if they didn't want to help you learn. End quote. If you all are wondering why I'm making such a big deal about the quotation, it is because I'm coming back next year to finish grad school, and I don't want any of them to think I was referring to them with part of the statement. Anyway, so there I was in Mobile, Alabama, 11 hours from home, a room in O'Leary Hall that was painted the most god-awful color of blue you could ever imagine, and the only advice I have is to get to know my professors. Actually, let me take that back. I did get one other piece of advice during orientation, and it happened to come from my dad. We were out playing golf, and my dad, in a father-knows-best kind of way, looked at me and said, "McGee, I have one and only one piece of advice for you." I was thinking, great, at least I'm going to get a little direction from somebody before they leave me here all alone. So there I was, preparing myself for this great speech, ready to hang on to every piece of advice that my father was going to give me. Anyway, he continued and said, "Whatever you do these next 4 years, watch out for the fire ants. They'll kill you." Thanks a lot, Dad. Okay, so then I was really confused. On one hand, I was petrified that the only advice I was given was to watch out for ants. But on the other hand, I figured if the worst thing my dad expected me to encounter over the next 4 years was a few ants, I might just be okay. So now that I had the professors and the fire ants covered, I wondered what ingenious piece of advice the next family member was to give. And for those of you who know my brother Bob, who has been at Spring Hill with me the past 3 years, you know as well as I that no more helpful advice was coming my way. Anyway, enough about the ants and the measly advice. This speech is supposed to be about Spring Hill and what it has meant to us over the past 4 years. So here we go. I want to get back to my sister's statement about the Jesuits and their ways of teaching. You see, here at Spring Hill, we are all dedicated to the idea that individual success and social responsibility can and should go together. Perhaps that is why the contribution that our small school has made to good citizenship has been so greatly out of proportion to its size. Jesuit tradition is at the heart of this goal, and we cannot ignore the impact that they have had on us, although there have certainly been times we wish we could. For example, who could ever forget having to write that Catholicism paper, or any paper for that matter, for Father Harmless? Who else but a Jesuit could convince us to rewrite a paper 37 times, and that by doing so we would somehow become a better person? And then they go and make him the Teacher of the Year last year and the Thomas Caestecker Chair of Liberal Arts this year. As for the rest of you professors, don't get any great ideas. Speaking of bright ideas, someone needs to be responsible for telling all the incoming freshmen to go on the first SHAPE or Ignatian retreat possible, simply so they don't have to avoid Father Payne for the next 4 years. Heck, that's the only reason I'm coming back for my MBA. There's no way Father was going to let me get out of here without going on a retreat, and I figured while I was waiting for the next one to roll around, I ought to try to squeeze in a few classes. For most of you, this retreat story will probably not make too much sense, so let me fill you in. For Father Payne, the retreats fall somewhere just below God and just above everything else in his whole entire world. In all seriousness, though, Father has done an incredible job with the retreats, and we are thankful for his help in restoring such an important part to our campus. Okay, enough flattery. It's time to talk about the Jesuit legend. No, not Ignatius Loyola, but the Spring Hill Jesuit legend, Chief. Sadly, Spring Hill is no longer Chief's home, as he was transferred to New Orleans last year because of ill health. However, our class was fortunate enough to spend some time with the legend we had heard so much about. Speaking of Jesuit tradition and how it leads to social responsibility, I think Chief was responsible for teaching the whole world a little something along the lines of social responsibility. Correct me if I am wrong, but I think Chief has to be the originator of the modern-day practice known as recycling. Who else would save that much junk that had absolutely no purpose at all without having some ultimate plan for it? However, regardless of his trash collecting talents, he is one of a kind, and we are all grateful that he was part of our years at Spring Hill. Obviously, the Jesuits have meant a great deal to the experience we have had at Spring Hill, but they are only the beginning to what we have witnessed the past few years. As with any dynamic institution, Spring Hill has been forced to change to keep up with student demands. During our brief, or for some of us not so brief stay, at 4000 Dauphin, we have seen many things come and go. We have said goodbye to many great professors such as Father Lambert and Dr. Curry. However, we have also welcomed wonderful new professors such as Dr. Dean and Dr. Haynes. We have witnessed the beginning of the nursing program as well as Lifelong Learning's OMC program, but we have also witnessed the end of the sociology program. Mobile Hall, Yenny Hall, and the cafeteria were all renovated while we were here. However, not only did we witness these renovations, but we also witnessed the devastation caused by the 2 fires. The new theater added so much to this year's drama production, however, it was sad to say goodbye to the classic College Inn. The basketball coach became the dean of students, and the director of admissions became the head of financial aid. Oh yes, and who could ever forget the parking lots before they were paved? Certainly not the freshman class of 1992 that had to move in during the rainstorm. For those of you who did forget, just try to remember where all that red clay came from on your carpet. It certainly wasn't from the blacktop. Seriously though, change is natural and change has done our campus a world of good. Just look around on a day like today and you'll realize that Spring Hill is one of the most beautiful places to be. With the azaleas in full bloom and the oaks lined with leaves, the school has never looked better. We have seen many of these changes as we have grown with Spring Hill. However, our class cannot help but to be a little bitter about what Spring Hill's future holds. With the new theater, the recreation center, the golf course, and the Fairway Apartments nearing completion, we feel that we will be missing out on some great assets of the college. On the other hand, these new facilities will certainly provide a great excuse for us to come back and visit in the next few years. It would be impossible to try to mention all of the changes we have seen as our campus has grown in so many ways. I think we are extremely fortunate to have had the opportunity to see the transformation from parts of the classic Spring Hill to parts of the new Spring Hill. These changes will certainly add to the college as they become the basis for the new traditions that are to be made after we have left. Regardless of the changes in Spring Hill's physical appearance, there is a certain degree of comfort in knowing that parts of our school will never change. No matter how many renovations, devastations, and improvements Spring Hill witnesses, there will always be the familiar faces that remind us of how it used to be. I think we can pretty much always count on Kathy and Wanda being in the bookstore, Juanita in the cafeteria, Leola in the mailroom, Reggie in the cloister. Well, I think you get my point. Yes, there is a great deal of comfort in knowing that there is a family here. At least there was for me when I first arrived 4 years ago. These people and the atmosphere they promote have made Spring Hill the unique and wonderful place that we have been able to share over the past few years. However, as we leave this institution and its many familiar faces behind, there will always be a part of Spring Hill that comes along for the ride. We cannot forget what it is that is the essence of our Jesuit education. As we so successfully became people for each other while at Spring Hill, we now must become people for others in our future endeavors. Father Rhymes put it beautifully last Sunday at the 10 o'clock Mass when he simply said, "Do for others." If we can take this from Spring Hill and incorporate it into our lives, we will have succeeded in accomplishing what the college was established to promote. I think we have all learned a little from our Jesuit leaders in this place that we have called home for the past few years, and for that we are extremely appreciative. However, I have to say that I owe more than simply what my professors in this institution has taught me over the past 4 years. I literally owe my life to Spring Hill and a Jesuit named Father Lynette. You see, Father Lynette was a friend of my grandparents, and in 1960 he had introduced them to this wonderful small college in Mobile, Alabama. Thank God he did, because later that year my mom enrolled at Spring Hill and eventually met my dad. I think you can figure out the rest of the story. Obviously, Spring Hill has touched the lives of everyone in my family, just as it has touched the lives of everyone in the class of 1996. Today, as we say goodbye, I would like to honor the college and all it has contributed to our lives. I would also like to thank you all. You have been the greatest classmates and friends I could ever have asked for. Good luck in whatever you decide to do. I will certainly miss you all. Take care and God bless.
Meg, in recognition of your selection as the senior class orator of the class of 1996, wishes to present this commemorative award to you. Well done.
Thank you.
At this time, I would like to ask the Most Reverend Oscar H. Lipscomb, Archbishop of Mobile, to extend his greetings to today's graduates. Archbishop Lipscomb.
Do you wonder what goes on beneath that pointy hat? Well, particularly at Spring Hill graduations, I wait for a line to tie remarks that I kind of have in mind all together. And today I got, earlier on, a marvelous line for the citation for Dr. Murray. And then, I can't believe it, but Dr. Hansen used my punchline in quoting from St. Irenaeus. I don't think St. Irenaeus has been quoted at a commencement in ages. But Margaret put it all together when she said, "Look around you at the beauty that is Spring Hill." And she may have thought of the Avenue of the Oaks and its trees and the azaleas. I look at you, and you are the beauty of Spring Hill. More than the trees, more than the flowers, and your parents, especially your mothers today, and extended friends who come to celebrate, by reason of your achievement, Jesuit education, which has as its leitmotif, I don't even think it's leap, ad majorem Dei gloriam, to the greater glory of God, which is your happiness and mine, and it all comes together. And that's where Dr. Murray, Dr. Hansen come in together in St. Irenaeus. Gloria Dei homo vivens. That's the way Irenaeus put it in the famous work Ad Versus Heresies, which I'm sure all of you could quote from memory now, having finished out here. But did you know he has a direct connection with Mobile? Yes, the great St. Irenaeus. He was made a bishop of Lyon in France. Ancient history, when I will not tell you what Lyon was like, but, well, I won't even draw comparisons. But he became a great saint, and it was from his clergy later that the young subdeacon Michael Portier, who would first go to New Orleans, then come as our bishop, and finally found Spring Hill College, was drawn. And always he had Saint Irénée as a special patron and a special source of prayer and support during his years as bishop from 1826 until he died in 1859. And that's why to hear him quoted today with that word, that special thing, the glory of God is a human being fully alive, just meant so much to me. The thought that Dr. Murray, whose marvelous work is to give us ourselves truly alive, not charades, not playing games, but knowing in our hearts who we are truly alive. And then to think that that word, do for others, sort of encapsulates it all. It's marvelous. I ask you just to think one question. When were you most truest alive? Answer your own question. You'll find out that was the moment that gave God the kind of glory that resulted in your happiness and ours too. Now there has to be something to tie all this together so that you will remember commencement. And I found another story. Happily, a real story. I can't tell the other kind because I can't remember how they come out with different variations. And this one took place when I was having supper. Dr. Hansen also said, have a zest for life. Look for the incongruity and the humor. Be surprised by the surprises and learn from them. But above all, from your background, you ought to be able to see how things come into place. This came into place with me from a 9-year-old with whom I was having supper. His extended family, 5 children, he was somewhere in the middle, 9 years old, Patrick Duffy. We were having a superb Caesar salad. Not Patrick. A 9-year-old doesn't eat Caesar salad willingly, I discovered. And so trying to encourage him on the ways of right dietary excellence, I said, this is great, Patrick. It's Caesar salad. Do you know who Caesar was? He'd heard of Caesar. He had actually remembered Caesar. So I said, well, he was a great man. Yes, I've heard about him. And they named a salad after him. Don't you realize what this means to have a salad name, a whole salad? Think you might be great like Caesar if you eat it. You know why they named it a Caesar salad, don't you? And I hadn't the faintest idea, but I could have made up something on the spot for him. I thought a 9-year-old, and he took me by surprise by saying, yeah, I know. Well, that was a stunner for me. So I said, well, Patrick, congratulations. Thinking, what could he possibly know about a Caesar salad? Why do they call it Caesar salad? And he said, because he wore lettuce in his hair. Remember the lettuce in Caesar's hair. Remember to be surprised. Remember to do good things. God bless you.
Thank you, Archbishop Lipscomb. The benediction will be given by the Reverend J. William Harmless of the Society of Jesus, Associate Professor of Theology. Please stand.
Let us bow our heads and pray for God's blessing. Lord God, the world is filled with your grandeur. You speak to us in all that we see and hear and feel, and we feel you in the depths of our hearts. And we know that the wisdom we have tasted these years here is just the beginning, that there are depths and a mystery to us which we have just begun to plumb. As Augustine had said in his sermon, what we all are must displease you, O God, if we are to attain that which we are not. Our hearts are restless until they rest in you, O Lord, and we ask your blessing upon us. And we ask this in the name of Christ the Lord.
Before declaring the exercises of this convocation closed, I ask that the audience remain in place until the faculty and graduates have departed. I invite all to refreshments to be served in front of the library. I wish to thank all the members of the McGill-Tulane High School Band and the director, Mr. Michael Foots, for helping to make this 166th graduation ceremony a success. I also request that the graduates proceed to the steps of the library where the class picture will be taken. To close this convocation, I ask all to sing the Spring Hill College alma mater.
Thank you.